You've heard the claim. Some people say when they had chemotherapy and the chemicals took away their appetite, nothing helped except smoking marijuana. Melissa Etheridge said when she had breast cancer, marijuana restored her appetite. The DEA says this is anecdotal nonsense, and there is no proof that marijuana works, that it's necessary. And in fact, they categorize it as a Schedule I drug, the same as heroin, which means they say it has no medical uses. Now, our next guest is Montel Williams. He's had a hugely successful talk show on TV and radio. He also has MS, multiple sclerosis, which gives him excruciating leg pain. And you say the only thing that's helped you is marijuana.
You know, it's so ridiculous when you talk about what the DEA has to say. The only studies that have been done by our government, the most recent one back in 1999, commissioned by General McCaffrey, who was one of the most staunch anti-drug people we've ever had.
He was the drug czar.
The drug czar. That study came back and said that one of the most egregious things our government has ever done was made marijuana illegal. Why? Because it is an efficacious product for pain cessation. Everybody knows that, and they've known that for quite a long time. The problem is that we never really figured out how we could distribute the product and keep control over it. What most of you
just before we get to that, I mean, these aren't evil people in the DEA. They have to genuinely believe the study isn't very good.
See, but the problem is that they've never studied it at all. You know, most people in this country have no idea why marijuana is illegal. Most people think that this government went through a process and studied the drug and then classified it illegal because it was dangerous. Marijuana was made illegal back in 1939 by something called the Marijuana Tax Act, folks. And the reason why it was made that way is because we have people like William Randolph Hearst who wanted to go ahead and chop down trees in the Northwest and didn't want marijuana being grown because of all of its byproduct, the ability to make paper, rope, clothing, and other things. So that's been what the big problem is.
Also, I understand because black people were smoking. And
correct, black people and
Hispanics.
White people. Matter of fact, addressed in a study that was done by, here in the state of New York back in 1944, De La Guardia commissioned the first study on marijuana's efficacy, and it came back and talked about the fact that because it was being used by Hispanics and blacks, that was part of the reason why people wanted to stop it. So let's go to the drug itself. Does it work? For some people it does. It doesn't work for everybody. 25% of people in this country.
What's it do for you?
For me, I have extreme neuropathic pain in my lower extremities, from my feet to my shins. I have pain in my side. I have something that just got diagnosed as called trigeminal neuralgia. I have pain in the center of my face. When I utilize marijuana, it takes that pain from a 3, well, a 4.5 to about a 2, which makes it manageable. And here's the thing, you said earlier, smoking. You don't only have to smoke marijuana. If anybody else could test it, because the U.S. government owns the patent. Most people in this audience don't know that. The United States
would
government,
allow somebody else
that's right, owns the patent for marijuana. If they would allow other people to test it, I eat it in an edible form, I take it in a pill form, I take it in a liquid form, and I also vaporize it.
But wait a second, what about that? Marinol is the pill form. The government could say, just, you have Marinol,
no, we
that's
don't.
enough.
Marinol is a synthetic drug that's not made from real marijuana, so that's part of the problem. But in London, there's a company called GW that has a product that's called Savitex. That is similar to Marinol because it's a liquid form of marijuana. It's a sublingual spray. It's legal all over the world, folks. The rest of the world acknowledges the fact that that's something that works for pain cessation in the EU and also in Canada. The Canadian government distributes marijuana, has been doing so through a company called Cannabis for the last 5 years because they understand the efficacy. Look, this is not about your child smoking a joint. I would say this, if the President of the United States himself, if Sasha or Malia were laying in a bed, writhing in pain, the President and the First Lady, if told, this little cookie will take away your child's pain, Sasha and Malia will be taking a little marijuana tonight.
But this kind of is about your child getting high, because a lot of the people in California have used the legal medical marijuana law to just find a way to smoke.
There are a lot of people in this country today who are strung out on Oxycontin, strung out on Vicodin, strung out on Percocet, strung out on a lot of other drugs that our government controls, and they're not doing a good job of controlling that. I got 22 years in the military. I put my life on the line for this country. Don't I have a right to pay my taxes and be a functioning member of the society? Do I not?
America's supposed to be about liberty.